The practical assessment within this qualification requires you to plan, deliver and evaluate a 15-minute microteach. For those of you that aren't familiar with the term microteach, a microteach is basically a mini lesson. So a 15-minute mini lesson. It's not a small section of a larger lesson. It is actually a lesson in itself. So you'll pick a topic and actually introduce it, have a main body to your presentation, and then obviously have some sort of summary and recap. So just some of the key sort of points here. So we say 15 minutes. We will not shut you down as the clock strikes the 15-minute mark on your microteach. What we tend to say is plan for 15 minutes and we'll give you that sort of 15 to 20-minute window. And if you approach the 20-minute mark and you sort of don't look like you're actually going to finish anytime soon, then we will actually give you a sort of signal to say, you know, you do need to finish it up. So that's the key really. If you plan for 15, then that does give you just a few minutes, you know, to play with if you do go a little bit over. We put here it's a subject of your choice, so you can do it on whatever you want. You know, probably half the people choose to do it on the subject that they're actually planning on going into teach, already teaching, but just as many people will do it on a hobby or something random that they can actually quite like to teach other people about. We've also put on here about the importance of having clear aim and objectives. So these will be on your lesson plan, but we always suggest you start your lesson with these because they are one of the criteria. So some people get a bit confused between the difference between aims and objectives. So to just give you an example, the aim of a microteach might be to actually make a Victoria sponge cake. So that's like a single statement, the overall aim. And then the objectives for that particular subject may well be to actually, you know, list the ingredients, could be one objective. The second point could be to actually mix the ingredients. And maybe the third, the actual something to do with the cooking technique for making that Victoria sponge cake. So your objectives, if you like, are almost how you're actually going to get to and achieve that overall aim. I've also put an important point here not to cover too much. It's probably the most common mistake within microteachers that people pick a subject they're very passionate about and try to teach people too much in 15 minutes. And the problem being, although they've got the passion and they really enjoy that area and that subject, it just becomes a bit of a whirlwind because of everything they're trying to squeeze in. So you need to think about that carefully and not try to do too much within the 15 minutes. You've got your detailed session plan, which I'll come on to in a bit more detail in a minute, but we're certainly happy to actually have a look at this for you in advance. So once you've got your lesson plan together, you can send it over via email and we'll get some good feedback over to you and let you know if you need to amend it at all. You practice your timings is one of the points on there. So this is really just to make sure it's not going to be half an hour long if you're planning for 15 minutes. You know, so if you've got someone at home who wouldn't mind listening to you, or even if you did it in front of the mirror, just to check that those sort of activities and timings you're thinking about are around about the 15-minute mark. And then the last point on there, probably the most useful, talks about the peer observation forms. This is the form that your actual peers are going to be using when you attend the microteach to actually monitor and sort of assess you and to see whether you are actually meeting the criteria. So we'll come on to that in a bit more detail on another slide.